What's going on, family? Peace, love, and happiness. Spiritual Scott in the present moment with you, and you. How's it going, everybody? I'm sending y'all positive energy. Take it, take it, take it, take it. Oh, take it. So I got a request or recommendation through a comment yesterday on the video to explain and to go over my experiences with like mental health, therapy, that type of thing. So here we go. Thank you for the comment, by the way. If you want to recommend something, reach out to me in the comments or send me an email. I'm always open to new ideas. Thank you for that. So for me, we'll start with my story. When I was 13 years old, that's when I started taking medication. So I was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. And to be honest, that manifested more twitching than what I was doing before. Before, I was just an angry kid. I had a lot of anger issues. I went to anger management a few times to a few different counselors at the time, and I didn't see any potential. I was always just getting angrier. I didn't like it. I was uncomfortable. And I mean, I was a kid. What else was I going to expect? I was uncomfortable speaking to my parents about things, let alone speaking to just some stranger. So when I actually started taking medication, though, I was 13. Like I said, for Tourette's syndrome, I was in some test study that was seeing if this new drug for that specific thing, which was Abilify, would work. And it didn't work. I was on that since I was since 13 to about 21 years old. Or 22 actually, yeah, the beginning of this year, till I stopped taking it. But through those years, I was still taking it. I was on and off of it. When I got older, I was like, this isn't working. So I would come off of it, and then I would go back on it. And then the symptoms, the side effects would be horrible. I would sleep every single day in class basically because I was exhausted. And it didn't work in general, which is why in my mind I was thinking, what is the point of this? Even since I was 13, I was thinking, is there a point of having medication? Like, it's going to alter my mind. That's what I thought when I was a kid. And I mean, although, yeah, medication can help, but medication is just, most of the time, just pushing it down. It's suppressing these feelings that you were feeling. And in reality, maybe there's some underlying cause of why you're feeling that. Maybe the universe is trying to say something like, yo, you need to look in this area of your life. Or maybe there's some other reason that I was having these twitches. Maybe I was just so stressed out or so anxious about everything going around, everything that was happening in my life or was happening for me at the time. Although I was in the victim mentality of, why is this happening? Or maybe seeing my parents fight as a kid. Maybe worrying about so much of the future, you know? And I used to cry at night. Ever since I was like 5 or 6, I didn't want my parents to die. I was always stressing about not just like that, but like them fighting, so I'm hearing them. So I'm taking this on. I'm taking my dad's anger when he had anger issues. I'm taking that onto myself. Nothing wrong against it because they're at their level of awareness. But when it came back to me, it was, how did that affect me? Well, I became angry too. And there's nothing against that. I've learned from that. I've healed this year and realized, oh, that was the fact. Why I'm angry. Why I had those anger issues. And then you heal. You feel it. You heal it. You bring awareness into the fact that that happened, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. So then, when I was 18, I was diagnosed with depression. Although I knew I was depressed most of high school, but it wasn't the fact that I was sad and I wanted to die all the time, but it was just, I wasn't enjoying everything. Nothing had meaning or purpose in my life. And I mean, I guess the mainstream calls that depression, you know? But certain things can bring that into factor. Like, maybe none of this surface level stuff was giving me any satisfaction. Maybe there was a deeper meaning I needed in life to search for. And I'm still searching for that. Doesn't mean I'm depressed, though. You know, doesn't mean that I need to take medication to help Big Pharma get all the money, you know? And the doctors, yes, they're at their level of awareness. They were taught what they were taught. And now they're just regurgitating what they think is the diagnosis. And I mean, yes, there is specific diagnoses for certain things. But there is also an underlying reason for these, like the holistic approach to, why am I really manifesting that in my physical body? Why is that coming to the surface? Oh, bring awareness in that. Don't just start taking meds. And that's what my doctor would do. He'd just try me on different meds. Oh, it's all good. Just take a med and you'll be fine. But it never worked. And then when I started taking the depression medication, antidepressants, when I was 18, I started smoking weed. And even though you're not supposed to smoke weed on antidepressants, I still did because That's what really made me happy at the time. I was calling it self-medication. With that level of awareness, that was working to a certain degree until it wasn't. So then when I was 22, I went into a drug-induced psychosis. Not just from the weed, from alcohol, staying up late, from acid, from all the buildup of every drug I've done, all the things that I was going through at that time. And that caused me to, like I say, go through my drug-induced psychosis, which that's a whole different video at the same time. There was that coincided with my spiritual awakening, but I do want to get into that a whole different video. So then moving on, when I came out of the hospital after a month, I was pumped with more medication. I had to get an Abilify shot every month. And right away I knew that's not what I wanted. I was on sleeping meds because I couldn't sleep. Maybe I couldn't sleep because I was on those sleeping meds. And then when I went off them, when I came out of the hospital, I was sleeping fine. I was sleeping like a baby. And I think I got diagnosed with like manic bipolar. And it's like, now I'm fine. This was last year in like June when I came out of the hospital. And ever since then, I started practicing more mindfulness. I started meditating every single day. Twice a day, 3 times a day sometimes. I barely get angry anymore, and if I do, it's not how it used to be. I used to flip out, freak out, go into a red zone where I couldn't see anything. I could just put that anger out there. And then now, I'm calm, basically. Most of the time I'm calm. I'm surrendered. Although, yeah, I do want to work on things. There's still aspects that I have to work on. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But it's always about growing, evolving. What are different ways that I can utilize what I have, what's happened for me, so I can integrate my shadow and light, integrate them together, become one with myself, start from peace within me so I can bring peace into the world. That's all I can do. How I can influence others through my experiences. And bringing it back to therapy, I have never had any therapy since I was like 13. I had like the anger management, that was it. And medication therapy, if you want to count that, but it never worked. It was always to cover it up and to maybe change the chemical imbalance in my brain, although that never worked either. It was never bringing a sense of freedom and a sense of fixing something, because there wasn't anything to be fixed. There was something that needed to be healed. Several things that needed to be healed. And I'm still healing. I'm always healing. Through my emotions, through my feelings, through what has happened for me. I'm still healing past those. Doesn't mean that I'm fully healed. We're always healing we're always on the journey to heal. So when it comes to like therapy or sessions like that, for recommending it to somebody else, yeah, if that's what you need at the time, do it. But don't always rely on those things to get by, like medication. You can be on that, that's fine, if you really need it. But always look at different other healing modalities, different ways that you can approach to try different things that can bring in that sense of real healing awareness, like meditation or playing sports, working out, doing something with something else with the medication. It's not always bad, but it's not always good if you're just taking medication and assuming that it's going to go away, because it's not. So when it comes to the medication, yeah, if you really need it, use it. But if you don't, let it go. Look at other ways. But you're not just going to get by if you're just getting by. You have to always want to grow past that. You want to expand to a whole different level so you can help yourself. So then you can help others, whatever dreams you want, and you feel like you can't achieve them because you're on medication or because you have these mental illnesses that you've been diagnosed with, which manifest more of that mental illness because you think that's your mindset. That's your limiting belief that's saying, oh, I have depression, so I can't do this, this, and this. Or so I have to be sad. So you feed off that sadness. You feed off that feeling of no feeling. And then you just put yourself lower and lower. You lower your vibe until the universe will slap you right across the face and say, yo, wake the fuck up. Pardon my language. It's saying, yo, you can do this. You have the potential. You just got to look at different ways. Don't just give up. I know it can be hard because I've been there. I used to walk by bridges every time I left the bar or every time I was walking by a bridge, and I would think I could jump off that right now and end it. And I wasn't afraid of death. I was afraid of the pain of dying, and I was afraid of leaving this world behind without leaving some type of legacy, because I knew I had so much more potential. I had that light. It was just a spark at the end of that tunnel. But I knew as much sadness and depression I was in at that state, I knew there was always something more. And I know people sometimes will commit suicide. They will put themselves so low that they don't see any hope. And that's what I don't like seeing. I want to try and help people help themselves to show that there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel because I've been through it. I don't have suicidal thoughts anymore. I mean, yeah, maybe I get in these lower modes, these sad states. But it's not about being stuck in that state. Don't stay in that state. Move forward. Move forward. Always be moving, trying new things so you don't stay in that state. And that's what I'm working on. And that's what I want to help you work on. Okay? Because there's hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for no matter what you're going through. Don't give up. You got this because I did too. And I believe in you. I know you can make it through it. With that being said, my friends, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear in the comments down below what your point of view on therapy, on medication, on doctors are, and for that fact. And if you have a personal story you want to share with me, send me an email. Go into my About section, click my email, send me an email. I'd love to hear. I'd love to write back to you. This is what I want. I want that interaction. It's not just about me speaking to a camera. It's about me speaking to you and speaking to your soul so you can communicate back. I want to hear. I want some feedback, some positive feedback, positivity. I want to hear your stories so I can improve myself and I can improve your lives. If you like the video, my friends, and you want to subscribe, click. With that being said, my friends, I believe in you. You got this. Peace, love, and happiness. Spiritual Scott is out of here. Woo!